Hey everyone, it's Danielle Taylor with Keller Williams Realty here on the absolutely beautiful Outer Banks today. And today I wanted to talk a little bit to all my sellers out there. And this is to my sellers that own in the Outer Banks or own somewhere else, your primary home, you have a second home somewhere else. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my suggestions on looking at your properties in this sort of shifting market and where this might be a really great opportunity for you. So we know that this week, we're in June right now, June of 2022, and we know that this week the Fed went ahead and increased the interest rates again by 3/4 of a point. So I think it's safe to say that, especially in the Outer Banks market, we are officially in the territory where we are going to see some impacts from this on our market. It'll be a little slower to show up in the data, but I think it's safe to say that we're all on the same page with that thought process. A 1% change in interest rates affects a buyer's buying power by about 10%. So that's a really big deal. We started 2022 in the 3% range, and we're now finding ourselves in 6% range for interest rates. And that's a really significant change for our buyers. Why is this such a big deal? Because it means for that buyer, if they can only afford to have a certain monthly payment, that payment doesn't take them as far in terms of purchase price. So it means they'd have to either come out of pocket more money and put more money down, or they have to buy a home that's a different dollar value to get to that mortgage payment. So that's why it really matters. And in this market, a lot of our buyers that were uber qualified, super flush with cash buyers, all of those kinds of things, they've probably already purchased. They were the people putting up crazy bids and multiple offers. They were the people that were winning out back then. So we're now working with our tier of buyers that are just in normal territory. They've got a certain budget they need to stick to and that they want to stay in. So this really impacts those people, and they're going to have some tough decisions to make. So having said that, I did say this is an opportunity, I think, for my sellers. And here's why I think that the shift is an opportunity. It's always a great idea to analyze every property in your portfolio and think about how it fits in your overall financial plan. And this is a great time to do that. Now that we think we're getting some stabilization in pricing, now's a great time to think about this. And so here's my suggestion, my process for going through that. Step one, get an up to the minute value of your property. So go ahead and know exactly where you are today. This is always a good idea to know this on an ongoing basis. We are happy to run this for you if your property is in the Outer Banks, or ask your local trusted realtor in your market. If you don't have a local trusted realtor in your market, please reach out to me. I have contacts all over the country, so I can get you set up. So step one, get your value in hand. Step two, we're going to go ahead and have you think about, how does this property fit into your overall financial plan? Does selling it now make sense, or does holding it make sense? And if holding it makes sense, is it a short-term hold? Is it a medium-term hold? Or is it a long-term hold? So those are the things we're going to think about. And those two pieces combined together should be able to give us a plan. Now, when you're thinking about how it fits into your plan, I'm going to give you some things to think about. Great conversations to have with whoever you own the property with. But first of all, if it's an investment property, is the cash flow on that property positive, negative, or neutral? That could affect your financial plans. Secondly, what are your tax implications for either holding it or for selling it? So what are the options there, and how does that fit into your portfolio? Great idea to consult with your financial advisor or CPA on that one. What could be happening to capital gains taxes in the coming years? So if this isn't a primary residence, or even if it is, what if they change the primary residence numbers? So think about how that might fit into where you are in your plans. What do you expect the real estate market to do over the next few years. And again, talk to your trusted advisor, real estate advisor in each of the areas that you own property. Rising interest rates and their effect on buying power. We talked about that at the beginning of this video. So think about how that might fit in. Do I plan to retire in this home? Is this my primary residence? Is this a vacation residence that I do see myself transitioning to? So how does that fit? What do we think the inventory situation is going to be like over the next little while? Any major expenses you might have coming up. You might be coming into a situation where you're going to need a new roof in the next few years, or you're going to need siding or windows or whatever it is. So think about those and think about how those might fit in. And then lastly, if you are in the Outer Banks or have property in areas like us, think about, what do you think the risk versus reward are in terms of carrying that over the next bit? Storms, changes in insurance, those kinds of things. So those are just some things you can think about as you're deciding whether it's a sell now, short-term hold, medium-term hold, or long-term hold. Once you have a plan for each property, then if now isn't the time to sell, I'm going to encourage you to think about what is your sell trigger, okay? And what I mean by that is, I think there's really 5 things to think about. So first, is your sell trigger age related? So is it age related because of retirement? Is it age related because, well, I'll sell this house when my kids are out of school? Is your sell trigger for that property age related? Secondly, is it health related? So is your trigger, hey, when I'm about to need to age in place, this property fits for me, or is it doesn't? So age related could be one, health related would be the next. Market related. So your trigger could be, hey, when my property's worth X dollars, I'll sell, And if that's the case and the property's here, you definitely make sure you did step 1 because you may be there already. So is your trigger market related? Fourth is your trigger income cash requirement related? For instance, is your trigger, hey, when I retire, I actually want to keep this investment property because I want the passive income? Or is your trigger, hey, when I retire and I'm not making as much money, it's going to make more sense for me then to go ahead and sell because maybe the tax implications are different. So is it income cash related? Or always an option, number 5, there is no sell trigger. I never plan on selling this place. I plan to be here until they carry me out. And that's fine too. Really great to know that in your plan. So those are my 5 things to think about for sell triggers. Just remember that sometimes this is a really hard situation to work through and talk through on your own. Remember, we're always here to do that. We can give you some great insight into some of the things that you're going to be talking through and certainly keep you updated. So if you tell us what your sell trigger is, we can help you strategize and plan for that. So if you need anything at all, as always, give us a call and we will see you soon.